Hello everyone, it's James Chamberlain, and today I've got a video and something I want to be doing today that I have wanted to do for a very, very long time. Today I'm going to be building my own custom mechanical keyboard, completely custom, all built by me. I've ordered all of the parts. It's actually been months in the making now, trying to get everything ready to go and trying to get all of the parts I need, but I finally got this stuff. The last of it arrived today, so I'm going to get right on it and build this board. Now, I'm sure there are some of you guys who did not even know it was possible to build your own keyboard, and also some of you guys who don't even know what a mechanical keyboard is and what makes it different than your traditional membrane keyboard with the rubber dome switches. For you guys, I'm sure this video is going to be even more fascinating, but I really hope all of you find this exciting and interesting. I have actually wanted to build a keyboard myself ever since I knew it was possible to build one. If you guys didn't know, there are actually keyboard enthusiasts who building keyboards and collecting mechanical keyboards is their hobby. And I can definitely say after this, I will certainly be one of them. But I have wanted to do this for a very long time for two real main reasons. First of all, I'm a very hands-on person and I love the feel and sound of all different types of mechanical keyboards, and I wanted to make my own. And second of all, because I want something unique and custom for me specifically, and I wanted to go out, because of how creative I am, and make something myself. So there's why we're going to be building a keyboard today. My current keyboard, my Corsair K70 Luxe with Cherry MX Blue switches, it is an absolutely great gaming keyboard and I really like it. It's great for video editing, typing, and gaming, but I wanted something that was even more my own, so today I'm going to be building one. I hope you guys enjoy this video and find it fascinating, but without any further ado, I'm really excited to get into this build and start unboxing stuff, so let's get started. So guys, here we are, and it is now time to start unboxing everything, and I'm going to go ahead and as I unbox all the gear, give you guys a full breakdown of what it all is and what it's going to be used for in the build, as well as the individual specs for those of you that want to know that. So this is going to be a 60% layout keyboard, but let's go ahead and get started here and get our stuff out. Let's start off with what really makes a keyboard work, and those are the switches. In a mechanical keyboard, every single key has its own individual switch. These are the Kale Box Jades. The Kale Box Jades are considered by many to be the absolute best mechanical clicky switches made. And after hearing and feeling these, not even in a keyboard, I am certainly inclined to agree. These switches have an extremely well-defined click, and the sound is very, very good and crisp as well. I think these switches are going to be an absolutely amazing complement to our build. Next up, we've got some dielectric grease. This was supposed to be to lube the stabilizers. We will see if they need it. They most likely will. It's always very important to make sure you don't have rattly stabilizers, because that sound is absolutely terrible. I know for myself. The stabilizers actually came pre-lubed, but we'll see if we end up needing to put this on. Next up, guys, we have one of my absolute favorite parts of this build, which is the custom James Chamberlain spacebar. This is going to complement my keyboard super, super well, and the RGB is going to shine right through because the text is completely translucent, and it's even embossed a little bit, and it feels super, super good. Big shout out to the people at Max Keyboards. They did a great job making this, and I'm totally new to having custom keycaps printed, so I emailed their support and they did a super good job telling me how to do it and giving me some general information there, so I really appreciate that. And this spacebar, I don't think it's PBT plastic, but I still think it turned out super well and feels like a quality product, especially for the price. Next up, we have these beautiful G-Skill Crystal Crown keycaps. They are ABS plastic, so over time they might wear out a little bit and they might start to look a little greasy, but I can always replace them a couple years down in the future. They were the only completely transparent keycaps I could find, and I really, really wanted transparent keycaps on my board, so I think this is going to look really good. Here they are. They come packaged super well in a vacuum seal, and they even do come with a keycap puller, which I've already got plenty of in my drawer, but it is nice to know that they do include that as well. Now guys, I'm gonna go ahead and save this for last, but here we have what is going to be our keyboard case. It looks like nothing but a generic box, but inside here is a beautiful wood case. This is packaged so well. They did a great job with packaging. Considering what I paid, I'm very glad they did too. Here we've got our wrist rest. This is a beautiful wrist rest. It is so soft. And then of course we have our keyboard case, which is actually inside of this really nice fabric bag they give you. And here is the actual case. It comes with a little bit of an insulating pad here, as well as some screws, which I'm assuming are to screw down the PCB. And we'll see if we need these or not. We probably will, so I'm going to be very careful with where I put them. But here is our case. One thing I did notice with this case is that it's not quite even on the desk, just a little shaky, and I hope that doesn't cause a problem for our build. My desk is turning into an absolute mess here of keyboard components, but next up we've got, finally, the PCB, and this is actually a GK61 kit for 60% keyboard off of Amazon, and I decided to just go ahead with a beginner keyboard kit, even though I'm actually going to be completely taking the kit apart and building my own board in my own case, because this came with a case, but it's just a plastic one, and I don't want that. Right here they're giving instructions, none of which we'll need, except maybe the stuff to configure the RGB. They gave you a little bit of an insert back plate to do a separated spacebar, another thing we're not going to be doing, but it is nice that they include that. This seems like a very nice kit. And then here is the actual board itself, as well as the USB Type-C cable and the keyboard. This should be our key switch remover tool right here. I really hope that's what it is, because I'm probably going to need one of those. Yes, it is. It's good to know that we have one of those. They came with the kit. And then we have the actual board itself, which, like I said, we're going to be taking apart and putting our own modifications on. I did actually already put a couple switches in here just because I was testing to see if these stabilizers were rattly yet or not, but I haven't actually built the board yet, obviously, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Okay, so now that I've given you guys the overview of all of the hardware that we're going to be using today, it is time to actually start building and putting things together. Or I should say taking apart, because the first thing we're going to do is take apart that keyboard kit, and we're going to go ahead and take out the PCB, the back plate, and the stabilizers, which are what we're going to be using in our new case. So pulling key switches should be pretty straightforward thanks to the puller they gave us. We're going to try to get this in between the little grooves on the bottom of the switch and just gently bring it up. There we go. Didn't exactly want to go flying, but there's the first one. Now we'll pull the second. Now comes the fun part. We get to actually go ahead and take apart this kit and pull off all the hardware we will need. Let's go ahead and use this. So I believe we're going to start pulling these, and we don't even need to pull the spacebar module because that should be modular. So I believe it will stay with the back plate and we don't need to remove it right now. So I'm just going to start by pulling the actual back plate itself off of the kit. Darn it, this one wants to strip. I think, is it even coming? I can't tell if it's coming or not, so we're gonna see if we can use a different driver for that one. All I need is one of these screws to decide to strip. There we go. Should have used this to begin with, so much easier. Now I pulled out the 6 screws. This should just be a standard 60% layout back plate and board, but it is not coming, so don't tell me we have to try to remove these, because that won't be fun. Yeah, we do. Okay, it looks like we may have to go ahead and pull... No, I actually don't know what to do next. I think we have to remove the spacebar module. It doesn't really matter if we don't have to. We can just put it back in later. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. A little uncertainty here and there about what you're supposed to be doing always makes builds, in my opinion, a little more exciting. So hopefully this will let us now take this PCB off here. Alright, I think I've identified the issue. I think it's the USB-C port back here. It's kind of bound in here quite well, so I kind of have to like bring it back to get it out. But I'm getting this side out now, and there we go. Yeah, the port's still in there. I don't want to damage it, so I want to be very careful here how I do this. That does not feel good. We're going to use this screwdriver and try to bring this end up first, try and get it somewhere where it's secure here. This may be a little trickier than I initially thought to get this out. If I can get this side of the board to come out here. Unfortunately, guys, it was super tight in that case. They really mold those plastic cases tight, and we actually broke the solder right here trying to get the port off despite being very careful. So we've got a little bit of resoldering to do. We will be right back. That was a huge scare. The whole USB port actually ended up breaking off, and we did actually have to do soldering, and it was more than an hour worth of a delay, I'd say. And actually, I didn't do a lot of the soldering myself because this was really precise work. Huge shout out to my dad for doing all the soldering, and it looks like we've gotten this to a usable state now, and I'm so happy about that. The soldering job there is pretty messy, but I could care less. I am just so relieved that it's finally working at all. Alright, we've got to put our insulation here into the case. Let's make sure that's the right way. Nope, it goes this way, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and put our newly soldered PCB with the Type-C port in it. There we go, looks great. And I'm just going to use whatever screws, mix and match from these, because these should be the right thing. Got that first try. Now let's put the weight down evenly here. Some of these don't even go into the backplate, they just go right into the PCB. Oh, crud. I actually decided to go ahead and remove our metal backplate from the board because our screws aren't quite long enough to get through with the backplate on the PCB. So I'm going to put the PCB in, screw it in, and then our switches should be able to hold the backplate down just fine. Here we go, the magic moment, placing the PCB into the case. Awesome. Now this part won't be bad at all now that we've actually got this done the way it should be. So much easier without the back plate. Okay guys, we are finally done with that. That took absolutely forever. Had some really major scares there. Really was a lot more work than I expected that part to be, but we are good to go. We've got our PCB screwed into this beautiful walnut wood case, and now we're gonna go ahead and put our back plate and the switches on. The lube already put on these stabilizers actually isn't that bad. I don't know if I can get you guys a close-up, but it actually isn't too bad. So I believe we're just going to stick with the lube that's already pre-applied to these. Let's put this bad boy on there, just like that. It's right on there, just like it should. Now it is quite loose, so we actually don't have anywhere to hook this on with. So we're just going to have the switch to hold that. I hope that's not a problem. let's go ahead and start putting switches in. I'm going to put some switches on the corner in first, just to try and kind of hold the back plate down a little bit. There we go, first switch successfully installed. Let's dump the rest of these bad boys out. We're going to need most of them. So wanting to go, I always want to be really careful with this. That's on there. A little bit more of a pop than I expected putting these on. Now that I know what to expect, let's go ahead and continue. This really puts a smile on my face, guys. I am so happy that we are almost done. Despite all the crazy scares and crazy things that happened, we are almost done with this, and I am so happy. This right here is why I decided to go out and finally buy the components to build myself a keyboard, was for some of these moments. Take a look at this. Got no keycaps on right now, but here it is, and I think this keyboard is going to sound absolutely amazing. Now, let's go ahead and put on our keycaps. Actually, I should probably put these on the other order, actually. Well, looks like we're just going to have to figure out where everything goes here. These G-Skill Crystal Crown caps are absolutely beautiful, and I hope they stay that way even after a lot of use. Here we go, our first cap on the board. Beautiful. Okay, so guys, it's actually been a little while since the last clip that you guys saw. It's actually been 4 days. But it turns out the soldering job we did to put the USB port back onto the PCB did work, but it only really connected up the RGB lighting, and the keyboard did not fully connect to the computer, so I was unable to actually type on it, and it would not send any input to the computer in that way, so it really wasn't usable as a keyboard. So it's been 4 days, and I've gone ahead and ordered a new PCB, which actually arrived really fast from KBD Fans, which is like the go-to place to get mechanical keyboard components. And we're finally going to be getting this job done and using this keyboard and doing the sound tests and all that fancy stuff in this portion of the video. So here it is. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it, and we're going to test this out, and then we're going to put it into the board. Okay, so here is the PCB. This is the DZ60 board from KBD Fans, and it has RGB on it. This is the RGB version with the backlight facing up, not the facing down backlight version. So we're gonna go ahead and test this bad boy out, and as you can see right there, it is a USB Type-C port that is right where it should be. Okay, so right here we have our USB cable. Let's go ahead and plug this in. And look at that, guys. That looks absolutely beautiful. Alrighty, now it is time to start taking this beauty apart and getting ready to swap PCBs in here. I really hope that I don't scratch these beautiful key switches and the completely transparent parts of them as I take them apart. This red keycap puller is so much better. It's not even a difference. Alright, now let's start pulling keycaps. So for that, we actually need this tool, and I think this is going to be more time consuming. Let's go ahead and put these in here and start pulling these out. Wow. The actual backplate's trying to come up as I pull these keys out, which isn't good. It's also scratching this backplate a ton as I pull these out, which isn't nice either. I'm trying to pull these out randomly so that I don't have a bunch of spots in the board where it's not being held in, because I think that'll make it harder having to hold the back plate in as I'm doing this job. Oh no. I tried to be extremely careful, but as you can see, the bottom of one of our switches broke off. I'm glad I ordered just a couple more. I thought I ordered enough switches for an entire standard size board, but I think I actually just ordered a couple extras. But as you can see, the bottom of the actual switch broke off, one of the pins did. So I am glad we're using a new PCB, otherwise getting that out could be hard. Okay guys, that part was really scary. And just like that, this old broken PCB is out of here. Yes, that is so beautiful. This right here is our brand new PCB. Let's go ahead and put it down into our board. Yes, fits like a glove. Okay guys, we've got all of that done. Our PCB is now connected to the case, so now it is time to go ahead and put on our backplate and our switches. This is going to be the scary part because, as I said, I hope those switches pins aren't bent too badly. Okay guys, so I couldn't figure out what these pads were for. I think they're just a little bit of insulating in between the backplate and the actual PCB, and I don't think they do anything special other than provide a little bit of an insulation so that the keyboard isn't quite as noisy. But now that those are in, let's go ahead and put down our backplate. Now it is time to put in the switches, so let's begin that. Let's put in our escape first. There we go. That wasn't bad. Let's go ahead and put in this key right over here on the corner now. Okay, now it is time to deal with the spacebar module. This part is always the hard part. Unfortunately, we had 2 casualties and 2 switches didn't make it, but luckily I do have 4 extras, so I should be able to put these in and be good to go here. Trying to get this in here is not easy for some reason. Is it just because this wants to bend down? I think that might be an issue because the switch is fine. I actually have a little bit of an idea to make this pop in though. If I pull this and push this up, there we go. Awesome, my trick worked. Okay guys, here is the really scary part. We've got to plug this in and see if any of this even works or not and what I've done. Okay, here we go. Here we go, the moment of truth, everyone. Something's working. Let's try something. One of our keys appears to not be working. That's not good. Let's go ahead and see if we can address that issue or not. Wow, that was quite the crazy thing I did there. It ended up actually being that I put our broken switch I showed you guys earlier with one of the pins broken off. I accidentally put that into the slot for the G key, and that is why it wasn't working. Nothing's wrong with our PCB. It was just that one switch. But now it's time to put keycaps on after a quick break while I let my camera cool down. Alrighty guys, there was my keyboard, the complete build from start to finish. I hope you guys enjoyed that build, and I hope that some of you guys even learned something from it. Now we're getting into the good part, and we're going to be sound testing this keyboard, and I'm going to be telling you guys what I think of its feel and all of that stuff. And we will be sound testing my new custom keyboard against other mechanical keyboards as well as traditional rubber dome office keyboards. We're going to be comparing the sound and feel to my Corsair K70 Lux with Cherry MX blue switches, which I would say are probably the most popular clicking mechanical keyboard switch in existence, as well as a board that has your linear mechanical keyboard switches just like Cherry MX Reds, or your switches that don't click and don't have a tactile bump, and then we'll just be comparing it to a traditional office keyboard. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, there it was. That was my entire keyboard build, complete with a sound test as well as a comparison against other keyboards. And now it's time to bring up those results before I go ahead and do our outro. So, I really like the way my keyboard sounds with the Kale Box Jades. I was correct in guessing that they are definitely the Switch for me. I really like the firmness of the Switch. It takes quite a bit to actually actuate, but I really like that. The tactile bump and click are both so well defined. Even when compared with Cherry MX Blues, the Kale Box Jades just completely blow the blues out of the sky. It's absolutely crazy. I've always preferred clicky keyboards, and I really like this board. I think the build turned out great despite some of those scary moments. And as I said before in this video, I hope this video did not only entertain you, but also taught you something. And I hope the bloopers after this make you laugh too. Thank you so much everyone for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. Goodbye everyone. I've wanted to build a keyboard ever since it was possible. I've wanted to build a keyboard ever since I knew it was possible to build one, and ever since I heard that there was a community. My current keyboard, my Corsair K70 Lux with Cherry MX, they were the only completely translucent or...
It's okay.
I wish I had water in here. That's called ASMR, letting them hear all the sounds of the unboxing. Gotta do that. I really wish I had like an iFixit kit. That would make this a whole lot easier. That's gonna go in the bloopers.
That's when you want to be off.
Yeah. Now let me wait. Keep pretending you're doing it. I want to make sure people know that you got to do it. There we go. And it did not connect, and the keyboard did not connect correctly. And the keyboard did not Oh no, we got a problem with some strip screws. That's not gonna make this fun. I believe that's what those are for, unless... Don't tell me that these are mini heat sinks for these chips. They could be. And we're gonna be sound testing it against, other mechanical keyboards as well as more traditional mushy office keyboards. As well as a board that has your... I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I have a feeling I'm forgetting something here in the outro, and I really hope I'm not, but